that Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's gonna have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
We all know the divorce is imminent. Things are not well in Montecito. Yeah. I'm just calling it now. It's on my card for 2025.
Oh, you say this is the year they divorce?
It's in my celebrity death pool, this marriage, for sure.
That doesn't tend to spur a lot of feelings of love and happiness and close bonding. I mean, I guess in the crisis mode it might, but I mean, they were in the first year of their marriage when she was allegedly suicidal because of her bad press, Paul, because of her mean articles about her. So this is not somebody who seems particularly well, and he's got his own mental health challenges that he's documented in many different cases. He doesn't seem to be getting that much better, so I'm not surprised. We made fun of it on Monday because it was just so ridiculous the way some of the media were covering it, the way they were like self-congratulatory. They've gone next level. She will find a way to bounce past him to some other taker who might actually just love the guy. She will take her royal kids who can still go by prince and princess and find the billionaire.
It was just a 5-minute video. No scandals, no conspiracies, no deepfakes, just two women, Megyn Kelly and Megyn Callahan, calmly poking fun at Meghan Markle. But according to insiders, it hit a nerve. Titled "With Love, Megyn," the parody didn't scream or slander. It simply held up a mirror, exaggerating Meghan's ultra-curated image. The chickens, the jam jars, the polished quotes. And that, sources say, was too much for Meghan to handle. Because this time, it wasn't cruel, it was close. Too close. And the reaction? That's when everything unraveled. Meghan Markle has been mocked before. She's been roasted by comedians, slammed by tabloids, and even animated into satire on global television.
But to the world, it's just, what has she been doing? Does she work? As opposed to, oh my gosh, I work so hard. And I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
The beginning of that clip where she's like, oh my God, yeah, it's like, it's so inauthentic.
Oh my gosh, look at all these photos about last night. ... Thank you, Beyonce and team, for an amazing concert and a very fun date night. All love. Girl, she didn't invite you to the concert.
She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibility. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara. She doesn't want the public service.
But not once did she reach for legal action. Until now. Multiple sources allege that Meghan's legal team is quietly exploring defamation claims against the creators of With Love, Megyn, that's right, over a parody. Not a smear campaign, not a hit piece, a skit, and that's what shocked people most, because the parody didn't invent anything. It exaggerated real details, all pulled straight from Meghan's own interviews and public appearances. The jokes weren't wild, they were unsettlingly familiar. Things like the luxury picnic tables for her chickens, the spiritual metaphors wrapped in soft focus branding, the carefully curated authenticity that always seemed one step too perfect.
We made fun of it on Monday because it was just so ridiculous the way some of the media were covering it, the way they were like self-congratulatory. They've gone next level.
It was satire, but it was accurate. And allegedly, that's exactly why Meghan couldn't ignore it. Legal experts were quick to respond, most calling the potential lawsuit a dead end. In the US, parody and satire, especially targeting public figures, is strongly protected speech. So what's really going on here? Critics say this isn't about defamation, it's about control. Because when your image is built on perfection, even the smallest joke can feel like a threat. For years, Meghan Markle carefully shaped her public image. She was the voice of empowerment, a symbol of grace under pressure, unbothered, unbreakable. But this reaction, going straight to lawyers over a skit, told a different story. Because if you build your brand around strength, why panic over parody? And that's where the damage started. Fans who once defended her stayed quiet. Even loyal supporters, according to sources, found this response confusing, even disappointing. Not because the parody was harsh, but because Meghan couldn't take a joke. The skit didn't expose a scandal. It exaggerated what was already visible, and in doing so, it peeled back the layers, showing the difference between being authentic and being curated. Cashmere kitchens, chicken metaphors, the soft-spoken relatability served with luxury branding. On the surface, it's lifestyle, but under pressure, it starts to look like performance. And the irony? The parody didn't damage Meghan. Her reaction did. Because in that moment, the carefully crafted image began to crack. Not because someone made fun of her, but because she couldn't let it go. If Meghan had said nothing, this video might have faded in a week, But the moment legal threats were whispered, something strange happened. The internet didn't quiet down, it exploded. Views on the parody skyrocketed. Clips flooded TikTok, reaction videos popped up on YouTube, and comments poured in by the thousands. People weren't just laughing at the video, they were sharing it, reposting it, quoting it. Not because it was outrageous, but because Meghan's response made it news. Media analysts call this the Streisand effect. When trying to hide something only draws more attention to it. And this time, it hit hard. Even people who had no strong opinion on Meghan suddenly got curious. What was in this little skit that caused such a stir? Why was it being treated like a threat? And once they watched it, they didn't see slander. They saw satire. Light, sharp, and weirdly accurate. Instead of bearing the parody, Meghan gave it power. She turned a 5-minute joke into a cultural moment, and in doing that, she didn't just lose control of the narrative, she handed it to the very people who were mocking her. In the past, whenever Meghan Markle faced criticism, someone always showed up. An A-list friend, a media outlet, a brand partner. But this time, silence. No celebrity came to her defense. No publicist released a statement. Not a single brand publicly backed her, and that silence said more than any headline. Sources say even Meghan's own circle was confused. Not just by the parody, but by how quickly support evaporated. Hollywood has always operated on loyalty, but it also operates on calculation. And this time, insiders say Meghan's reaction made her look volatile, not powerful. Brands noticed. Executives whispered. After all, if one short video could trigger a meltdown, what would a real crisis look like? The Spotify deal was already gone. Netflix, once her biggest backer, is reportedly cooling off. And her podcast, once hyped as groundbreaking, quietly disappeared from public conversation. Not because the parody ruined her, but because Meghan made it matter. She turned a harmless joke into a headline. And in doing so, she reminded Hollywood of something they'd rather avoid: unpredictability. So what exactly was in this video? What made a 5-minute skit feel like a direct hit? It wasn't insults, it wasn't made-up drama, it was Meghan, through a slightly exaggerated lens. There was the miniature picnic table set out for chickens, a direct nod to real footage from Meghan and Harry's documentary. There was the cashmere kitchen attire, gently mocking her perfectly styled off-duty looks. And the line about cutting edible flowers from your windowsill, a playful jab at the lifestyle advice Meghan once shared. None of it was invented. That's what made it sting. The video didn't have to twist the truth. It just lined up the details and let them speak for themselves. Megyn Kelly and Megyn Callahan didn't scream, didn't rant. They performed it all with calm smiles. Cool, composed, and slightly amused. And somehow, that made it worse. Because it wasn't angry. It was confident, unapologetic, and completely unbothered. Exactly the image Meghan has spent years trying to own, turned back on her like a reflection. It wasn't a parody that felt cruel. It was one that felt familiar. And familiarity is hard to laugh at when the joke feels a little too close to home. Legal experts are almost unanimous. Meghan Markle's team doesn't have a strong case. Parody and satire are among the most protected forms of speech in the US, especially when public figures are involved. So why push legal threats? Sources say this isn't about winning a lawsuit. It's about sending a message to critics, to the media, to anyone thinking about poking fun. The warning is clear. Mocking Meghan Markle comes with consequences. It's a control tactic, a way to scare people into silence, even if the legal claim wouldn't hold up in court. This kind of approach isn't new for public figures with fragile images, using the law as a shield, not to win, but to intimidate. And ironically, this move only confirmed what the parody suggested all along, that beneath the strong, empowered exterior lies a desire to tightly control every part of her story. Instead of reclaiming the joke or laughing it off, Meghan's reaction revealed insecurity, a rare moment when the polished brand slipped, showing the cracks underneath. Meghan Markle's brand has long been built on authenticity, empowerment, and breaking free from old systems. She presents herself as a champion of the misunderstood and a voice for those often silenced. Yet, when faced with a satirical joke, sources say she chose suppression over grace. Instead of embracing humor or owning the moment, she moved to silence two outspoken women. That move, observers say, undermined everything she claims to stand for. It created a disconnect between the image she projects of a strong, confident woman and the reality that surfaced in her reaction. public perception began to shift. What once felt like genuine vulnerability started to seem like performance. And the question on many lips became, if you preach freedom of speech, why try to silence critics? If you claim to be authentic, why fear exposure? If you left royalty to escape control, why act like royalty when joked about? This isn't just a PR misstep, it's a fracture in the narrative. A brand once celebrated as groundbreaking now faces skepticism and doubt, and the internet, it's watching. Meghan Markle had a simple choice. She could have laughed it off, shown she was unshakable. She could have reclaimed the joke and moved on stronger. Instead, she chose to fight a battle that, by all accounts, was unwinnable. And in doing so, she revealed more than the parody ever could. A deep insecurity behind the carefully curated image. The 5-minute satire wasn't just a joke, it became a mirror, reflecting a side of Meghan few had seen. Now, the narrative has slipped from her control and landed squarely in the court of public opinion. People aren't just laughing at the video, they're talking about what it exposed. The obsession with image, the contradictions, the scripted vulnerability. It feels less like a personality, more like a performance. And while Meghan fights to silence the critics, the internet is left wondering, is this really the unbothered icon she claims to be, or someone desperately afraid of losing control? The joke wasn't cruel. The reaction was, and that might be the most revealing story of all.